Hi there, friends, and welcome. It's Lavender Sky Panther with you on Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. And we're going to do a fun little card reading right now. And the overall theme here is going to be something like keeping it simple. We are going to have 3 groups you can choose from. I always say you can pick 1, 2, or up to all 3 groups, however you like, if you're feeling it. So don't be bogged down by any rules. There are no rules, just your intuition and what you feel like doing. So that being said, I am going to point to a couple of things so you know which group is yours. So group 1 is going to be these squeaky ducks, a little trio there. Group 2 is this trio of rocket and planet themed bouncy balls. And group 3 is this collection of little charms. And there's some sweets and like a cat and all kinds of, like, I think a zebra and a pig with glasses, a pineapple, fun little stuff in there. So if that's for you, you'll know it. So I hope you've made your decision, and maybe you want to stick around for all of them, but we have 1, 2, and 3. So here we go. Oh, you know what? Before we jump into everything, I want to take this opportunity to say a huge thanks to all of you. Whether you've stopped by this channel for the sky stuff or these card readings or both, I really do appreciate you being here. And I hope you've been able to, get something out of these things, that they've, sparked your creativity or your inspiration levels. Just maybe something, a word here or there has helped you in the moment. That's really all this is for. And I just wish all of you well and a beautiful new year ahead. I also want to take this opportunity to thank a bunch of the other card readers out there, spiritual card reading people, mainly on YouTube. I don't really venture off into the other platforms to watch stuff. So anyhow, I would like to extend a huge thanks to a lot of wonderful channels, because not only do they give incredible wisdoms that I look to as well, but also they show off some really beautiful decks that I probably might not come into knowledge of if it weren't for them sharing and doing their readings that are very helpful and insightful. So in this case, I would like to give an extra shout out and thanks to The Nordic Light as being one of those channels, because the cards I'm going to use I would not have seen if it weren't for seeing them in a reading she had done. I also want to mention other great readers out there. If you don't know of them already and want to kind of scout around, because everyone has such beautiful and different styles and wisdoms, is White Feather Tarot with Amber, and Emerald Intuition. So big shout out to all of you, and big thanks, because actually all of you have really even encouraged me and helped me in many ways. There are so many more. I don't want to mean to leave anyone out, but those are just a few I want to highlight at the moment. And again, many thanks to everyone out there who is helping to uplift this world, and not only through spiritual card readings, but in any way that you do it. Upliftment is the name of the game these days. And actually, I was in a parking lot at a grocery store today, and I had a phone call come in, so I sat in the car a little longer before I went in to get a couple of items. And I noticed off to my left, a car backed up and didn't see the shopping cart that I think they even put next to them on this little median. But the angle that they backed out with, they totally kind of bashed their car into the side of it. It was like there was nothing that could have been done. I couldn't have done anything to alert them. I just kind of happened to look over when I heard the crash. So then the person looked, nothing really happened to the car. It was okay. And then they drove on. Well, when I came back out from going and grabbing some items, I had noticed a new car had parked there. So when I was putting my items away, I saw the car about to back up, and then they hit the brakes. I think they realized the cart was there. So as I was loading my items into the car, I went over and moved all the little carts over that he might have hit, backing out on that radius. And then I just went back about my business to loading up the back of my car. Well, I didn't even think he might have seen me. I thought, maybe he just saw it was clear and backed up. Well, the person turned out to be very nice, because then he backed up a little extra, had the windows down, and made sure that he thanked me. And he even said, "That was so nice of you. You're going to get really good karma for sure for doing something like this." And I had to laugh, because he did not look at all like the type of person that would use the word karma. Just look kind of more like a businessman, older, whatever. So I thought that was kind of funny. Now, this all relates to where we're going to go, but these little ducks, I carry one of these. I put them in like a little sparkly pouch, a little organza pouch, all different colors. So the ducks are different colors, plus the pouches are different colors. And I throw them in my purse in bulk. I take a handful with me whenever I'm going to go out, if I can remember. And if I have them, I give them out. And so I just do it as random acts of kindness, if you will. I give them out to thank people or give them as little tokens of appreciation, or if I see somebody having a bad day, or if I just feel like it. And so in this case, when he backed up to tell me, oh, you're going to get good karma for this, he was about to take off. And I said, wait a minute, hold up, and then I grabbed in my bag and I had one left. So I gave him a duck. And, at times people are a little confused, like, it's not very often that people just give you something, but that is what I do. Out in public here and there, I've been totally led to do this, and I've been doing this in one way, shape, or form or another for like over 10 years. I did do a show where I dedicated the whole beginning, a sky show, where I talk about the different kinds of tokens I've been giving out over the years. That includes anything from real crystals to little plastic, like jumbo gems, featured in some of my other beginning card readings. All kinds of stuff, little gold coins, plastic coins, but it's the intent behind the giving that's everything. So they feel the love coming their way, the true appreciation coming their way. And we need that. All of us need that right now out there. There's so many of us right now that just, could really use a hug. And, so many people especially are going through tremendous losses. I'll say, to me, they're not true losses, they're transitions of people who are passing on. So many people going through that right now. Also, in any form, whether it's friends or close family. So it's just a nice excuse, actually, when you hand out a little gift or token, just to get a little conversation going. You can then read the room and see if somebody might even just need a hug or a really heartfelt well wish. And so anyway, the man, after I gave him the duck, oh, and then I also say this is the squeak technique and show them how to squeak it, because you have to hold the wings a certain way and squeeze it fast. Otherwise, it won't squeeze if it's a slow squeeze. And then people really laugh and they really appreciate that when they hear it squeak. They can make it squeak. It's just really cute. And even the most hardened person who's had the worst day, I squeak it and they can't help but laugh, right? So the man instinctively, I guess, said, kind of in surprise, getting a nice little token, just said, oh, well, what do you do? And so it was just funny today. Instinctively, it just flew out of my mouth. I just said, I just go around uplifting the world wherever and however I can. So I just feel like sharing that with you. We're so, used to people asking, well, what do you do? Instead of like, how are you? How are you really? And get into a discussion. It's just kind of that quick response. Oh, how are you? Oh, what do you do? And, I never want to say I'm a this or that ever again. I don't want to be so limited and defined by one role or one profession or one non-profession. And so I was just kind of very happy that response flew out of my mouth. Very thankful, because it's true these days at this stage of the game where we're at in this spiritual warfare. My mission is just to uplift the world wherever I am, wherever I go. So anyway, maybe that's something just to think about. I don't know why I told you all of that, but there was a reason. So anyway, I hope you've made your decision, and we're going to get into it. So again, lucky little ducks for good luck and well-wishing is number 1. These little balls with it. It's got a rocket ship, the Saturn and the Earth inside. And then back here, I told you what those charms are. Okay, so let's get into it. Group 1. All right, group 1, don't sweat the small stuff and create. And we've got, it looks like, is that a 54? Yeah, so that's a number 9 or also a number 6. So let's look at the first card that came out for you. And we're only going to do 2 cards because the theme is keep it simple. And it comes from the Answer is Simple Oracle Cards deck, and I'll list it in the description area below. So don't sweat the small stuff. And we have a little mouse, looks like a little field mouse sitting on top of a bear. Okay. And the bear looks pretty relaxed. And actually, the mouse looks okay too, because it's not scurrying around looking for food. It's already, got it and feels very comfortable. So it is a good reminder to not sweat the small stuff. I like to think of it this way. If something happened to you, not necessarily in a bad way, but just say, let's not even use you as example or me. Let's just say something happened to somebody. They had this huge to-do list. They were scurrying around. They had to, pay this bill or go get this from the store or go do this outside. And say, for some reason something happened to that person and they're like, oh my gosh, I have a spasm in my leg. I can't move. I'm not going to be able to go do this stuff. Oh, I was supposed to go back to work after lunch. I'm immobile, whatever. The point and message here is there really is nothing too big that we should be worried, and definitely not worried to the extent where it would cause us illness or, sweating literally, or, even anything to break our stride over it, right? But of course, in our minds, we get so caught up in this like monkey mind or circus mind, like a squirrel running around in there, that we've got to do all of this. And we don't have to, especially since you're the creator of your life and your day. Nobody else is in your head or in your body moving you. Hopefully you're not possessed. And if you are, get yourself to a spiritual person who can get that out or show you how to get it out yourself. So since you are the one in control, truly there is nothing worth sweating anything over, unless of course like a building is on fire and you've got to save somebody. But otherwise, typically the stuff we worry about is really pretty much nonsense. But yet society and rules and things, kind of make us feel like, it's going to be the end of the world if we don't take care of something. So this is just a little call to chill out. Look at that bear is totally chill. So is the mouse, who could normally be nervous running around looking for food. Everyone's just taking a minute and chilling out and taking a breath, ideally. And maybe it's even a call to stop what you're doing and go take a rest, if you need it, and recalibrate, and for main thing, I don't care about deadlines. Again, someone could say, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world, you can't leave. Well, yes, you can. And again, unless something's on fire and you got to go rescue somebody in that moment, you can go and do what your intuition and heart tells you. And if it's to go take a break or just, go somewhere and relax, for a minute till you can kind of get set, there is nothing that is going to, be a danger or at risk if you do that. And when you honor yourself, if you really need that in that moment, everything else will work out around you. You try to keep going in a half-assed state or a less than state, that's when everything starts to snowball and fall apart in a worse way, right? All right, so that's just that little message there. And then with that, we had create. So let's see how this ties together. We've got topiary here. These look like swans. And this woman, this gardener or horticulturist, whatever she is, she's out there taking care, or arborist is out there taking care of, not only taking care of this garden, but being really creative with it. And I like how number 3 is prominent here, even though the card is number 24 and number 6. 3 is prominent because, hang on one second, sorry, decided to put this on a pillow. That might not have been the best idea, but I'm trying to change things up in a creative way here. So anyway, she's got the 3 swans, and we also have these other 3 birds. One looks maybe like a robin, one like a crow. I'm not sure what this one is back here. But anyway, point is we've got, 3 and 3, and actually we've got a couple more in the front. So how does this relate to don't sweat the small stuff? Well, in that don't sweat the small stuff example, we're talking about creating your own day, creating what you need so that you are relaxed. And just in a kind of small way this relates, but gardening is one heck of a great way to relax, and not just pulling weeds or planting a tree here or there. Yes, it's creative and trying to decide what trees or plants you might put somewhere. But in this case, with topiary, you can go any which way, totally different directions. Another way to create would also maybe to be thinking of what kinds of trees to plant, where you could maybe bake some things out of the fruits that are born out of these trees. So for example, I have a neighbor who is an incredible baker. It's not even what she does as her profession. She should. Makes the most amazing key lime pies I've ever tasted in my life. And so the next tree that I'm going to plant on this property is a key lime tree. And I've invited her, when I get it in there, to take as many as she wants and keep baking and putting them out in the community, right? So anyway, I know we kind of wandered over there with the messages, but maybe they don't even have to tie into each other, but just kind of relax and be creative. Creative reminds us that, we have infinite ways to express ourselves and to shape our very day. I guess that's how we can tie it in together. All right, and since I did say this is going to be a simple, kind of keeping it simple kind of reading, I'm going to stop with that for group number 1. Have a beautiful right now. Until next time. All right, group 2. You have, I'm going to actually move group 1 out of the way. We have Fill the Well, number 25, and number 55, Thank God. So if you're tracking numbers, 25 can also be a number 7, 55 can be a 10 or a 1. It's often said, of course, the 5s, can represent change or shift is about to happen or maybe did. So let's start off with Fill the Well. This card's a little perplexing to me because we have this woman in the back is presumably about to get some water, but she's looking in the bucket and it looks like it is empty. So we look further down though, and we see that all of her little co-workers here, associates or friends or fellow villagers, they have both 2 buckets, to balance things out, and they're filled, right? So why, first of all, why is the well dry and how is she supposed to fill it, right? So that's why I'm a little perplexed with this card, and maybe I'm just missing something, and you can interpret it better than I can on this one. But what's interesting is that I know that there is no running dry of the well. If we dig deeper and go down further or go to another location, there's always a water supply. I don't think the supply ever can run out on Mother Earth. And we've got the moon, and the moon implies not a full moon, but with the moon being out, it implies that the well will eventually fill up because the moon will help draw up the water into the well, just as it can help draw up water into plants and, through the very stems. And so I think this might be a little, card kind of saying that this one, she's just going to need to be a little bit patient for that water to come back. Maybe her 1 bucket isn't going to make or break, the overall situation. Maybe they've already got enough water, to share for everyone. Or another message in here could be, she can fill the well, maybe with well wishes. She can maybe take a moment and just kind of meditate and visualize and envision the well being filled, right? There are some things that can be done. So how does this apply to you? Fill the well. Maybe it's also a matter of what can you do to fulfill a situation to bring wellness into the situation, right? And one tiny example is just doing that, meditating. Now, I don't know why this particular example is coming to mind, but I'm going to run with it. I think for me, this is very much about bringing a situation and, bringing what you can to a situation to make it well, okay? Now, one example I have is back in the day, probably a long time ago now, I was at a school and I was working with some kids, and one said, "Oh, this kid keeps hitting me, every day. I don't know why. I'm not doing anything to him, but he hits me." And I said, "Well, it could be that he wants your attention, even if it's negative attention or whatnot." And the kid said, "No, I don't really feel why. I think he's just being mean, I don't know." So anyway, I worked with the kid and the parent and said, "Look, let's try this, just when you go to sleep at night, especially with the parent and the child together, close your eyes and envision the child happy and laughing and feeling totally content, feeling really well, filled up with happiness. Envision it in your mind's eye. And if you can do that with your parent at night, one of your parents, do it together, and then just pray for the kid that his needs are met, that he has a harmonious family, that, maybe the parents are stressed out and they're dumping out on the kid, and that's why then he's taking out his aggression on, this other kid I was talking to." So I said, we don't know. We're not in their shoes and know what his home life might be. Doesn't excuse him for hitting or touching you. That's not okay. But let's try it this way. So instead of going and talking to the teacher and having a conference and, bringing the other kid and his parent in, let's try it this way first, right? So, the kid and the parent, the mom, they prayed at night. They envisioned the kid happy and feeling great at home and feeling totally relaxed and at peace. And that very next day, and again, it was routine that the kid would always hit him at a certain time. I believe it was like around the homeroom time. And this was sorry, I didn't know if I said it. There's an elementary school situation. So probably around, I would say like second or third grade. Anyway, I found out later that next day, the parents and the kid came to me and they said it totally worked. The kid just stopped and he didn't even touch him. And so I just want to say that's the power that we have to fill the well and make a situation that might not be well, just by our envisioning it and focusing good, loving energy into the situation. Now, ideally, she wouldn't have to do this by herself, or again, it's just kind of like a allegory, metaphor for maybe if you're in this situation. Maybe you don't have to feel like you've got to fill up this thing and make the whole situation well if it's out of balance. They're all balanced here, and now she's like just with one here. Maybe it's not up to you alone to get that balance. Maybe whatever situation might be troubling you, you go to a neighbor, even if they're kind of just like an acquaintance kind of neighbor, or, if you don't have a family member or friend around who can do this with you, and just grab them one day and, not literally, but, get their attention and just say, hey, would you mind just for 1 minute, even, holding hands and doing it, or just standing side by side, and both close your eyes and envision the situation, whatever you'd like to see, and see if they'll do it with you. Because as we know, even with prayer, it gets amplified and even more powerful when more than one of us do it together, right? All right. I didn't expect to go there, but I hope that made sense to you. And yeah, I guess that's about all I wanted to say. Another little mini messages. They're all walking off, seemingly not really worried or looking back to see if this one's okay. And another little extra message is you have everything that you need within you. You don't need all of this support. You've got it within your own mind's eye and envisioning. And like I said, maybe just grab an extra person at another time to help you if you feel like you need a little extra boost in seeing something through. Okay. All right. That's it for number 2. We're going to move on. Oh, no, we can't. Sorry, not yet. I forgot you have a second card. Okay. So what do we say? Fill the well is number 25 or number 7. And then we have the 55. So then we have thank God. So fill the well and thank God. And I guess I might have already touched on it with my example. If, you grab a neighbor, and kind of hold hands and close eyes and envision the situation being harmonious and nice. If you don't have that extra person around, like we're saying, all these people are kind of walking off. Sorry, I've got this on a pillow to be different today, and it's causing some problems. Like they're all walking off. So maybe there is a time, that you've got to just take care of it by yourself, and that's okay. Because if you thank God, right, miracles and solutions can come up off the horizon. And by being creative, like we have in group 1, there's a message of create. We have this infinite creative capability. And so this person somehow started a fire, and now this ship is presumably coming toward him. And we'll, see the smoke and be able to save him. Now, there's probably a ton of other things that he could have done to start this fire. But he just, whatever one he chose, it was successful. And he is on his knees in prayer, thanking God. And some of those actions, those physical actions of just getting down on your knees, if you can, at my age and older, I mean, sometimes you get down, you're not so sure you're going to get up, but if you're limber enough, you get down on your knees, and that action of putting the hands together in that kind of point is also like a physical channeling to you, that power, from above. So that symbolism of putting the hands together and forming a point, it's not haphazard. There's a reason for it. And it helps channel the energy in and through and then ground into the ground, makes it much more powerful. Anyway, maybe something in there is a little signal like this fire for you to think about. Okay. In the meantime, gratitude is always good. And there's always infinite resources. So there's more than one way to fill the well or turn the situation to harmonious and into a well direction if needed. All right, now we're going to move to group 3. And group 3, bear with me here. You've got, looks like number 3, drop it, and number 18 or number 9, step away from the crowd. So we'll start off with drop it. And give me 1 second. I'm going to move the group 2 away so I can put this in the center. Okay, where it's a little more stable. Okay, so drop it, and we have a woman in looks like a little purple outfit think so, right? That's what it looks like. And a hot air balloon that's lifting off, and she has already dropped one sandbag there. And then we've got another more colorful balloon down here. Well, we don't even know what the decoration on her balloon is. We've got a very vibrant, colorful balloon and a man in a kind of a black suit and a top hat, and he is down there presumably yelling something, or encouraging her, I guess, hang on, to drop that bag. And his sandbags, he's got a ton of sandbags around there, and he is anchored, onto the ground. So drop it, right? Lighten the load, like physically get rid of stuff is what I'm getting with this card, because it does weigh us down, not only physically, but energetically. In a previous show, I talked about reading, I talked about put the bags down. How much lighter we feel if you've been going on a trip and you've got a suitcase on each side, you're carrying them and they're heavy and you've got to go a long way. Even if the cases are light to start, the longer you walk, the heavier they start to get toward the end. And you're like, oh my gosh, you cannot just carry them anymore off the ground. You got to put them down. Well, in this case, her hot air balloon is not going to ascend and get higher and higher off the ground if she's got all the sandbags on. So she must release them. Now, hopefully she's looking down below and not like cutting it off and it like hits somebody and hurts them. So, but she knows she's getting it. And I think this guy is yelling at her to do it. With each drop bag, the lighter the load gets, and you can physically get lighter and ascend. And of course, in spiritual sense, that's got quite a bit of weight to that meaning, right? So anyway, good reminder to maybe, declutter in the home, get rid of items that just feel very heavy energetically, and, find some creative solutions. If, I think we all have like that one box, or somebody's given you a box of something that they inherited or they wanted to pass down and keep in the family. And, maybe this is a very specific example for somebody, but just say, you're looking at that box and you're like, I don't even want it. Even if it's like, well, it could be any number of things, just something that somebody else cherished and has passed down the line. But when it gets to you and you're the custodian of it, maybe, and you're just not vibing with it. And if anything, it's giving you a bad feeling. Maybe it's time to just, find that one box and find a different home for it. And, if you can't find anybody that you can think of readily of who you could give it to, close your eyes and just say, to God's source, Jesus, whoever you, pray to, angels, your guardian angelics, your, guardian angel, just close your eyes or just say spirit, great spirit, whatever it is. Kindly show me the right person for this. Who would this best serve and be a great match for? And then, wait a few days or a week, and you might be surprised the exact right person will come up to your view or in your daily day-to-day, and you'll just be like prompted to ask somebody, hey, do you happen to like this and this, whatever's in that box? And then you're going to find out they'll be like, oh yeah, I was just thinking about this and this, and I could really use that, so it will go to the right home, so to speak. And just give it time, but make an earnest heart's wish. Like, I really would love this to go to the right person and be the most harmonious. I don't want to just throw it out without care. Please kindly show me the right person. Now, if the right person doesn't happen to show up and you're feeling like, wow, it's been weeks and this thing is still really dragging on me, well then, okay, then maybe you just put it all together. Bless it, maybe even just take a picture of it, and you can put that somewhere. You don't have to have the actual items, and then take it to like a donation center or what have you, right? In the worst case, if there are none around, you might have to just honor it, bless it, and throw it out. But undeniably, couldn't be any more clear. Drop it, right? Okay. Now, drop it also could be drop a resentment. Drop it if you're kind of harboring ill will against somebody. Drop it if you've been betrayed or hurt. Just try to get to the space of letting it go as soon as you can, because it will just weigh you down. And then, as we know, it eventually manifests as some kind of illness in your body, and you're not going to feel light. So just try to drop it and forget about it, right? And then lift off and then look ahead at the horizon ahead of you, not behind you. All right, now we're looking at this, and we have number 18 and number 9, step away from the crowd. And we have these orderly line of sheep here, and they seem to all be going in the same direction, don't they? And then, nope, not this one. So which one are you on the card? I know which one I'd say right away. You know, count me in on this one down here, and the one doing its own thing. So step away from the crowd. I think if you found this channel, that's what you're doing already. When everyone else is zigging, you're zagging right by now. You're totally reading between the lines in every situation. And just because everyone's going that way doesn't mean we have to. And more often than not, nor should we. This one even seems to be like fixed and like taking a stance that is kind of really looking around at its surroundings. So maybe the ultimately it does, you know, want to go in and file, you know, join in on the ranks here and head that way, but not until it fully looks out and checks out the full situation, right? And it still can make up its mind to yet, you know, turn around, but then go off this way wherever it wants. Sometimes there is strength in numbers, and sometimes it is a good time to be in with the crowd. But stepping away is just taking that breather. You know, just remembering you don't have to do what everyone else is doing, and just because everyone else in the world is doing it, why do you have to? The answer is you don't. And I'll give another example. I was kind of surprised the example that came up with group 2, but I just go with it. I'm thinking of, you know, Christmas lights. If you celebrate Christmas, or you like to put up cheery lights around the holiday time, the holiday season like we just had, and with New Year's, you know, at least where I live in the United States, the houses in the suburban area, you know, they put up a lot of lights around maybe the perimeter of the roof, the eaves. You might have something framed around the door. These days, everyone has like these inflatables. Even I've even seen a dragon with a Santa hat on it. Anything and everything is out there. So what happens? You know, we get through Christmas, all these lights are up, and then some people wait till the Three Kings Day that would just happen on the 6th, January 6th. Or I've been told that in Europe it's called Little Christmas even. And so supposedly, you know, the 12 days of Christmas, the time that it took the Three Kings to go get to visit the baby Jesus. Anyway, some people, they'll keep their lights on, of course, you know, through that time. And then all of a sudden, January 6th comes, and what happens? Then everybody's like quick to take down the lights because God forbid you got your lights on one extra day from the quote unquote, you know, cutoff, I guess, imaginary cutoff of when, you know, the celebration supposedly ends. Well, why not keep your lights up longer if you want? You know, I know a neighborhood where there is someone who keeps their Christmas lights on trimmed around the eaves, around the roof line all year long. And I think that's fantastic. I actually really love that and appreciate it. So anyway, it's just a reminder to step away from the crowd just because things are quote unquote traditionally done or in society customary. No, we don't have to play by any rules whatsoever. It makes you happy to have the lights on longer. Do it. Makes you happy to have your Christmas tree, living Christmas tree in your house until March. You know, do it if it makes you happy. So anyway, that's all I'm led to say there. So I'm again, if you found this channel, I think you already kind of know that and live by that. So okay, so that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I wish you all tremendous peace and love. Till next time. And I know I've said it before, but if you are here kind of for both readings and the sky shows, I am going to get back to, I really want to finish up a couple more sky shows, at least to get through a bulk of a bunch of photos I have from the past several months, and I'm doing my best to get there. So in the meantime, I wish you tremendous peace and love. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.